One of the key points I thought that Mark said in a series of very interesting observations is that it is blindingly obvious to friend and foe alike that Sir Keir Starmer is not take two Tony Blair.
No, he isn't. But he is. He does sound a bit like Tony Blair sometimes. I mean, when he told people who supergluing themselves to roads in protest against the oil industry, he said, "Get up and go home." He's sounding a bit more like Tony Blair this year than he has done previously. He's completed quite a remarkable political journey from his election as a unity candidate on what was essentially a Corbynite programme.
Yeah, but one of the crucial distinctions as well, and you are one of the absolute authorities upon it, is that Tony Blair wasn't only not Michael Foot, he also had really profound radical thoughts about how his own political party should operate, how the United Kingdom should cooperate, and how it should be a country of unity and purpose. I don't hear any of that from Sir Keir in renationalising, however pro-Seddon is of it, or of defenestrating members of the House of Lords.
Yeah, well, Tony Blair was in favour of replacing the House of Lords with an elected second chamber as well.
He sent in Gerald Kaufman to try and cut a deal with John Wakeham, didn't he? And they couldn't get it off the ground.
Indeed, and he ended up sending Alistair Campbell and Derry Irvine to negotiate a deal with the Tory hereditary peers to exclude them from the House of Lords. So he achieved half a reform on the grounds that half a loaf was better than nothing, and on the grounds that trying to go further would completely gum up the legislative work. So it was a pragmatic approach. So he, in the end, he didn't actually put replacing the House of Lords with an elected second chamber in the Labour manifesto in '97. It was a very, very cautious document. And Keir Starmer is pursuing a similarly cautious approach, although I do think pledging to replace the House of Lords is unwise. But no, he doesn't have the charisma of Tony Blair, but he's following broadly the same approach, which I think is obviously a good thing, as I'm a Blairer.
While you were giving that answer, we were giving some underway of the House of Commons, and Theresa May featured in it as well, because I wanted to put this to you. We've both lived through various rebrandings. I mean, you're the expert on Tony's rebranding and the abolition of Clause 4 for Labour. But the Tories have done it before with that particular woman from Grantham, with the help of the Saatchi brothers and a whole series of brilliant speechwriters and marketeers who made a troubled Conservative Party not only eminently electable, but utterly dominant until your man Blair came along. Do you think it's time for the Tories to consider that again?
Well, Rishi Sunak did get quite a lot of stick for being too obsessed with slick marketing and social media campaigns. He's toned down some of that since then, and I think the problem that the Conservative Party has is that this year has been absolute chaos. To go from Boris Johnson via Liz Truss to Rishi Sunak just gives the sense to the British people that the Conservative Party doesn't know what it's doing and doesn't really know what it stands for, which was bad enough when Boris Johnson was Prime Minister, because his political identity was so chaotic and disorganised. But to have gone through three prime ministers in a year has not done the Tory party any good, and I'm not sure that any marketing can fix it. I think steady government is what Rishi Sunak ought to be doing, and that's what he's trying to do.